Humanity was nearly wiped out when we achieved FTL, and it was the Federation that tried to kill us because of what we were. They tried to cure us, and it failed by their own ineptitude, like they would have failed with you because you're obligate carnivores. So they would have just killed us? Naltor chirped. That's fucking great. Are these species still a threat? This is something the military needs to know about. We won that war. We have control of this sector and have neutralized or assimilated parties that might be a threat to you. Candidly, the threats you're facing are more diplomatic in nature. We'll and protect you if anyone raises a wing against you. However, there are many who will compare you to the Arxur, the now exiled species that ate sapients and fed on cruelty. Bisons are the only other obligate carnivores we know of. These prejudices will lead to a challenging and unfair introduction, no matter how much we try to step in. I felt as though the human had kicked ice into my eyes, a cold shock that threatened to pull out my emotions via tears. After all of my fantasies about putting forth a good first impression of Ivrana, Dustin laid out that aliens would be prejudiced against us because the other sapient carnivores fucking ate people. How could we convince them that Bisons wouldn't do that if they'd studied us for so long and still not arrived at that conclusion? Fishing was such a central part of our culture that I'd never even considered that it was what triggered Haliska's fright. For all my fantasies about what aliens would be like, and how eager I'd been at Dustin's speech for what they could teach us, I'm not sure there's a place for us in this sapient coalition. Besides, Ivrana isn't ready to hear that other spacefaring species would have killed us if we'd been discovered before humanity. All of my life, I wanted to find you. My voice sounded broken, discouraged, and defeated as the realization that Bisons were incompatible with friendship in the stars sunk in. I wanted to learn about you, but not like this, not such an unspeakable past. Dustin pursed his lips. I know they're not ready to contact you, but we couldn't wait. Your overfishing on Ivrana has reached the point of no return. Without outside help, there will be global consequences and mass starvation. I won't sugarcoat it. You're amidst a complete marine ecosystem collapse. Your oceans are acidifying, and they store 50 times more CO2 than the atmosphere. It'll start making much of Ivrana uninhabitable to boot. Bisim scientists know this. Tassi, I think you do too. I know the oceans are dying. The waters are becoming more orange, polluted with algae than ever. I don't see what I can do about. We need to come in with lab-grown meat so that you ease the burden of fishing on your environment, beyond what farms can do. We'll help you clean your oceans. We have robots that can scour for plastic, and we can help reintroduce endangered species before it's too late. There's zero time for inaction. All of our simulations have shown this. We don't need all Bisons to cooperate with each other, but we need you to cooperate with us. That's your plan? You said yourself you didn't know how the Tsaya would react, that you didn't want an ICBM in your hull. Naltor challenged. That's part of my plan. I want you and Tassi to help us establish relations with the Merlai Huddledom, the Confederation of Vertal, and the Tsaya nomads. And if you can accept the unpleasant truth of the galaxy's past, we can plan your introduction to the sapient coalition. Humans defeated prejudices that were much stronger and more nefarious, so there's no reason you can't prove yourselves too. We could take you to many worlds, and you can learn so much about what's out there. Do you still want that? I drew a shaky breath. I reckon we want to keep humanity in our corner. If there's something I can do to help our first impression, I'd never forgive myself if I didn't try. If we didn't try. Naltor's eyes were unwavering, reflecting that there was no room for argument. If you're taking Tassi on a joyride across the galaxy, I wouldn't want to miss out on whatever she learns. I feel obligated to protect Lasman and all Bison's interests. Great. Then I say we give it a week or two for your diplomatic corps to give us some pointers and make any advance calls that'll help us. My team can survey reactions to first contact from our outpost to shape our decisions. In the meantime, I can take the two of you to see Earth, to be the first Bisons on another planet, as our guests. Does that sound like a plan? Dustin asked. I composed myself, finding my resolve. It does. Thank you for giving us the full explanation, Dustin. We're glad that Earth survived for us to visit. We're glad you're willing to give us a chance, even after all that you've learned. I'm excited to see where our friendship will lead." General Naltor dipped his head in acknowledgement before leading the human out of our conference, satisfied with the explanation of the galaxy's history. I ensured that my expression didn't betray shock or sorrow before following the duo back toward the feast. The Selmer military official spotted a sniveling Haliska standing with a group of soldiers, and in a rare display of tact, he ferried her into the private room where we'd been, away from the feasting, cameras, and commotion. I tried not to slip into mourning for my dream, when there was still one prospect to be excited about. Friendly aliens had invited me to visit their planet, and that meant, in a short time, I'd be standing on soil that was light years away from Evrana. Ingratiating ourselves to the sapient coalition might have become more daunting than it already was before, but with the fate of our homeworld on the line, I wasn't backing away from the challenge. The Nature of Predators, 2-7. Memory transcription subject Taylor Trench, human colonist. Standardized human time, March 16, 2060. The heart rate monitor beeps were the first sensory input to break through the dreamless fog, bringing me into consciousness. My eyes blinked open, gasping, as my mind thought I had been buried beneath the sand in the last waking moments. The blue lighting of the medical clinic hit my vision, and I sat up with hyperventilating breaths. Dr. Adebayo was nowhere to be seen, though I recognized her workshop instantly. My head throbbed, wrapped in bandages, and I groaned in discomfort. My fingers scrabbled at the linen sheets, trying to push myself upward. "No, no, no. Easy, Taylor." Sharice's voice sounded like it was being amplified within my ears. She rushed up from where she'd been sitting on her holopad in a visitor's chair. "There was an accident in the mines. You were injured." I gritted my teeth. "I know, I remember. Help me get up, Benson. I've got to get back to work. We've got to make sure the shipments—" "That's not happening," Mayor Hathaway said, from where he was quietly hiding in a shadowy corner. "The main drill is gone, son. Look around you. We have a lot of folks down and not nearly enough medical staff available." "Gone? That can't be. We're not going to be able to meet the Krev's demands, and there's fuck all I can do." While on Earth, there would have been specialists for every condition under the sun. Here we only had a handful of general practitioners, one general surgeon for emergencies, most surgeries were performed by robots due to understaffing, and a single dentist. I suppose for the last one, we wouldn't want anything happening to our precious canine teeth. Cavities weren't a good shtick. Getting buried alive hadn't hurt half as bad as that root canal I had to get. Once this generation of medical staff were gone, we'd have to hope someone new trained on the AI courses we'd brought from Earth. My head slowly lifted from the pillow, with my vision unblurring at last. The light pained me as it struck my optic nerve, but I forced myself to look around at the bed. There were people in full body casts, with breathing tubes down their throats, with